Here to help answer that question and more, Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin is with us. Do you ever have conversations with your colleagues on the other side of the aisle?
Yes, we do. Some of them you can talk to, some of you can't. I've said this many times, Sean. You can't argue or have a legit conversation with crazy. And when you hear conversations like Crockett, who goes out there and tries to defend an illegal and says they have constitutional and civil rights, when you go, well, they're not a U.S. citizen. They're not even a guest inside the country. They entered the country illegally, and you're saying we're kidnapping them and just shipping them to a random country, but we're shipping them back to their country. You listen to AOC and you listen to Bernie Sanders, who are open socialists, and you try to have a conversation with them. There is no starting point. They're socialist. We don't have anything to talk about. They do not believe in our form of government. They believe in Russia and China's form of government. There isn't a place to move. And when you start talking about Chris Murphy, you know, you can have a conversation with him, but he's been auditioned for the presidency for 2028 since Biden got kicked out and Harris lost. So it's all political at that point. You can't have a substance conversation right now, unfortunately, with those on the other side of the aisle that are aspiring to be the next president.
It seems like crazy has taken over the party, and then maybe people that might be inclined to be a little more moderate, even leadership. You know, I don't know what your relationship with Schumer's like. He's not the most likable guy in the world, to be honest. That might be inclined to be a little more reasonable. They're scared to death of Jasmine Crockett, AOC, the Squad, and Bernie. They don't have the courage to stand up to those radicals, even if they did disagree.
Well, that tells you how, by the way, you said seems to be crazy. You know they are crazy. This is why they lost the election. This is why they have the lowest approval rating that the Democrat Party has ever had. They have totally... Yeah, they've totally lost, and being Native American, being Cherokee, I can say this, they've totally walked off the reservation at this point. But when you start talking about Chuck Schumer being a moderate, that's a stretch. He is scared to death right now that AOC is going to run for his seat. He's just praying that AOC decides to run for president in 2028 instead of running for his seat in 2026, because he will lose to her. So I, unfortunately, have to preside over the Senate because we're in the majority, which I'm okay with that, but I unfortunately have to listen to Chuck Schumer because I'm always presiding during a leadership hour. And Chuck Schumer gets up there and he spews nothing but lies. And if anybody wants to actually see how much lying Chuck Schumer is doing, I don't wish this on anybody to have to listen to give a speech, but between 9 and 10 Eastern Standard Time, every morning we're in session, he'll come to the mic and he'll just spew lies, and then you'll see John Barrasso, our whip in the Senate, will come in and meticulously, literally pick off every lie that he has said, because he has no place to go. You can't run on the truth, because if you run on the truth, Sean, what you realize is underneath Biden, they had inflation that averaged 4.95% at a high of 9.1%. Already in the first 100 days, President Trump has brought inflation down to 2.4%. What are you going to talk about the border when Biden said that he couldn't do anything more from the Oval Office, and President Trump gets in the first 100 days and does executive orders by reversing the Biden administration rules and putting back his 2017 rules, and the border is crossing is down by 95%. What are you going to talk about? The jobs created? I mean, one thing that people aren't talking about right now is that part-time jobs at 459,000 jobs. 459,000 part-time jobs have now been moved to full-time jobs. There isn't anybody reporting that, not to mention the over $300,000 manufacturing jobs that he's already brought back with a $5 trillion worth of investment. So what can the Democrats possibly talk about other than lies about President Trump and what he's done for America in the first 100 days?
My favorite moment of the week is when Chuck Schumer, Donald Trump had the worst polling of any president in the first 100 days. And somebody says, well, what about your polls? The lowest ever, 17%. By the way, Trump has more than 3 times the polling you have. And he goes, oh, polls come and go. Can't make it up. All right, Senator Mullin, good to talk to you, my friend.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.